What is up, everyone? This is the Jose Show. I hope everyone's having a fantastic Monday. I surely am. And I also had a fantastic spring break and Easter. But you know what? I am so glad to be back doing this lovely show because, man, I love to do the celebrity gossip. I love to, spill the tea because that's what I do every day. And also, that is what I think is so fun, in my opinion. But anywho, before we get into hot topics, I would love to talk to you guys about how my spring break went. So, not only did I got to spend my time at home, um, cleaning and resting, but also I got to see a really good friend of mine over at North Hollywood. Her name is Blair Woods. She is a phenomenal singer and songwriter, and she got to do a phenomenal job performing at her show this past Saturday, ladies and gentlemen. Man, and I think that my friend Blair Woods, she is gonna really make it so far. I mean, she's already made it far, but even more far in life with how good she's doing with her music career. And I also think that Blair Woods is, a real human being. She is so honest, she is so deep, and I love that about her, definitely. And another thing that I really loved about Blair Woods was that she was so happy to see me this past Saturday when I got to go to her show because, I mean, hello, I mean, I am a really good friend of hers and I am, you know, a really good supporter of hers. And I think that um, she really deserved a lot of people to go to her show because a lot of people did go to her show on Saturday. It was not just me, you know. So I really am happy for Blair Woods. I really am. And not just that, but also in her show, I got to bump into a lovely celebrity. I got to bump into the one and only Jack Griffo, who stars in the Nickelodeon sitcom The Thundermans. Um, I at first didn't even know that he was performing in the same place that my friend Blair Woods was performing. I was like, just enjoying the show, talking to my friend Blair and to her friends as well. And all of a sudden, my friend Blair, she was telling me, "Hey Jose, so somebody named Kid Baron is performing tonight on the show." And I was like, "Who's Kid Baron?" And then she was telling me that Jack Griffo was the one that was in that band. And I was like, oh my God, Jack Griffo from the Thundermans. Oh my God, where is he? I want to talk to him. I want to meet him. So my friend Blair, she tells me he is inside. He is just standing right in front of the stage, looking at, watching other people perform because it wasn't just him that was performing on that night, and it wasn't just my friend Blair that was performing that night. It was also other bands. Anywho, I walk up to Jack Griffo. I introduce myself, and I got to have a really good conversation with him, ladies and gentlemen. And our conversation lasted for like 5 minutes, but it was like the best 5 minutes of my life having to talk to Jack Griffo. Um, I told him that I am a huge fan of his, that I watch the Thundermans every day, and that I love how he is on the show, and I love Kira Costrin. And I also told him that I never knew that he was in a band, and I also told him that my friend Blair told me that he was going to be performing at night, and then he was telling me a lot about himself, and he was telling me that he was so happy to be performing at night, and that his co-star Kira Costring wasn't going to make it to on that night to see him perform, but that she will be in his shows in the near future. And also, she was telling me that he was just so happy to meet me as well. And he was also telling me that, that he knows my friend Blair, and that, that that night was gonna be awesome for him, and that he was excited. And he was telling me a lot of other things. It was just a very good conversation what we had, and I also got to take a picture with him because, of course, why wouldn't I take a picture with the one and only Jack Griffo, ladies and gentlemen? I even posted it on my Instagram and on my Facebook for those of you that haven't checked it out. Um, and not just that, but Jack Griffo is such a sweet guy. He is such a cool dude. He is literally one of the few people I have ever met that is actually down to earth and that is honest. And that's something that I really definitely love about him. You know, so, anywho, I was just blessed to have bumped into Jack Griffo this past Saturday. I was blessed. I was happy. I was like, I cannot believe it. I cannot believe I bumped into Jack Griffo, a Nickelodeon star. And not just that, but also, I mean, the moment that I walked up to Jack Griffo, I was not nervous at all. I was like, no, I'm gonna walk up to him and I'm just gonna say, hey, what's up? Because the moment that I saw him, I was already able to tell that he is such a great human being, and that he is easy to get along with and to communicate with. The moment that I approached to him, like big time, because of the way he just, the way he dressed and the way he looked and the way he was just calm. I was like, yeah, I can definitely tell that he's a really cool dude. And yep, we clicked. Me and Jack Griffo, we clicked. um I was about to tell him that I'm a podcaster and that I do this lovely show, but I was afraid to tell him because I was like, I don't know if he's gonna really check out this show. But I mean, hopefully, eventually, or someday, he'll check out this show and he'll watch this episode and he'll, um, subscribe to my YouTube channel, but and follow me on the socials. But I don't know. We're just gonna have to wait and see. But it'd be a blessing. But anywho, Saturday was such a great day. I was surrounded by the best people ever. Jack Griffo, Blair Woods' friends being so nice to me. Everything was awesome, and by the way, they got to perform at the Federal NoHo over in Hollywood. And the Federal NoHo is a pretty big place, in my opinion. A lot of people showed up, and um, a lot of music was being played. It wasn't just the music from the performers, but also like the DJ was playing too, and um, that place also had a lot of food to offer. It was also a bar, and also it's a very nice place, you guys. So for those of you that haven't even been to the Federal NoHo, you guys should definitely go someday to see someone perform there, because that place has a lot to offer and it's very nice. So, anywho, I had a really good day this past Saturday. Alrighty then, so now from my lovely vacation to now, hot topics. Alrighty then, so unfortunately, throughout this past spring break that I had, the news was confirmed that TheReal is getting canceled after 8 seasons, and it was confirmed by many sources, and Warner Brothers decided not to pick up the show for a ninth season because of the COVID costs of the show. And this is according to Lonnie Love, who went onto social media saying that the COVID costs killed the show, and that the production was doing the best they could to save the show. They turned the conference room into a studio. They turned the not just that, but also they um, switched up the segments a lot, and they did a bunch of other things to the show in order to you know make the show better and in order to save the show. And unfortunately, that was not enough, and the audience still kept on declining, and now the show is getting canceled. Now, a lot of people are speculating that the Jennifer Hudson show that is going to be premiering this fall on Fox stations is going to be the replacement of TheReal, but apparently it's not the replacement of TheReal at all. It's just going to be on Fox stations and that's it. Now, a lot of people are speculating this because the show is on Fox stations just like TheReal is. And also, um, it's also being speculated that the Jennifer Hudson show um, could be the reason to why the real got canceled because Jennifer Hudson, not only is she a Grammy award winning artist, but also she's an Oscar award winning artist, and it's pretty expensive, to have a huge, multi awarded artist like Jennifer Hudson have her own talk show. It's pretty expensive, so that's why it's already being speculated that another reason to why it's being speculated that the Jennifer Hudson show is being replaced by, I mean, TheReal is being replaced by the Jennifer Hudson show. That's why it's being speculated. But personally, I just think that the show just got canceled because of the ratings. That's what I think. And I personally feel like TheReal is getting canceled because of the fact that the show really did not make the enough changes necessary in order for the show to continue on. Because I think that ever since the pandemic hit, the show started to get kind of dry. No shade. I love TheReal, but I feel like the show was starting to get kind of dry because the topics were not as good as they used to be, and the show no longer had an audience, and the show was also just not having those game segments that they used to have that were very fun to watch, by the way. None of that was there anymore. It was just about the talking and then the interviews, and that was it. And I think that's what really damaged their ratings, unfortunately. And I feel like TheReal should have brought back the audience and they should have brought back those good old segments that they used to have in order to save the show. That's what they should have done, but unfortunately, they didn't do that, and now the show is getting canceled. The Talk, for example, The Talk was already having a huge decline in ratings this past year because of the exit of Sharon Osbourne. But good thing that CBS was smart enough to actually give that show the changes for the show and to be saved and not to get canceled. Um, I remember that not only did the talk have to change, their topics and their segments, but they also got to change the co-hosts a lot. I remember that once Sharon Osbourne exited, not only did she exit, but even Elaine Welterworth exited. And then after that, they ended up putting Jerry O'Connell and then Akbar, and they ended up putting Natalie Morales as the replacements in that show, along with Amanda Klutz and Cheryl Underwood, who are still in that show. And because of those changes and because they put in better topics into that show, the talk ended up getting better ratings. And now the talk is like in the top 10 of one of the most viewed talk shows in America right now because of how good the changes were and how good the show has gotten now. So the talk was smart enough in doing that, and that's a good thing. But also, we have to admit though that of course the talk is coming from CBS, and CBS has the funds to make so many changes and so many good things to that show. Unlike TheReal, that TheReal really didn't have the funds to really, have those changes. But I'm just saying from my perspective that if TheReal had those changes, the show would have gotten better ratings and the show would have been saved. That's just what I'm saying. Now, another thing that I have to say about this is TheReal is not the only talk show that is getting canceled. And it is definitely not the only talk show in the Fox stations that get canceled. The Ellen DeGeneres show is getting canceled. The Wendy Williams show is getting canceled. The Nick Cannon show is getting canceled. Dr. Oz got canceled. Maury's getting canceled. And many others that are also on Fox are getting canceled. So this is pretty insane that Fox is getting this huge change in their lineup of daytime talk shows for the fall. And they are all gonna get replaced by the Jennifer Hudson show and by the by the Sherry Shepherd show this upcoming fall. You know, so basically, that's what's going on here, and I just hope the best for for the Sherry Shepherd show and for the Jennifer Hudson show. I hope the best for those two talk shows because those two talk shows they seem like they're going to be very good because Jennifer Hudson is very talented and Wendy Williams, Sherry Shepherd is also super talented. The both of them are hilarious. They're classy. They are um, intelligent women, you know. And also, it makes me happy that the Fox stations are bringing back two women of color into the daytime talk show business. I think that's very dope. Very, very dope. I mean, Jennifer Hudson, I don't think she has ever done daytime talk. But yet again, it's nice to see that they're bringing her into the daytime talk show business. And I think that it's also a really good example that we are showing diversity and inclusivity when it comes to putting women of color in daytime talk shows because I mean that's really encouraging other people of color, you know, to have good jobs like that and good careers like that, you know. So I love it that they're bringing in more women of color into the daytime talk show business with Sherry Shepherd and Jennifer Hudson that are coming this fall. But anywho, um, I really cannot imagine how this fall is going to turn out though, with all of the daytime talk show changes. I can't imagine it. This is going to be crazy in my opinion, really crazy. And which, by the way, speaking of Wendy Williams, now that we're talking about daytime talk shows, Wendy is planning on coming back to her show on June, right after she gets everything situated with her financial issues. Now, I think that she can come back to her talk show, but I don't think that she's going to be able to save her talk show from getting canceled because Sherry Shepherd already has her contract in the locks, you know, with her having her own talk show this fall with the Sherry Shepherd show. So it's not possible that Wendy's going to be saving her talk show. They Fox cannot all of a sudden be like, okay, well, you know what? We changed our mind. We're not giving the show to Sherry, and we're gonna continue off with Wendy after all this. It's not gonna work like that. Once there's a contract, and that's how it is. You know. So uh, I think the only thing that's gonna happen is that Wendy's just gonna be there for like the final episodes, just to say her goodbyes and goodbye the Wendy Williams show. But that's all I have to say. But anywho, I wish nothing but the best for the ladies of TheReal on their future endeavors, on their future stuff, especially on their careers. And I also wish nothing but the best for Wendy and for Sherry and for Jennifer Hudson. That's all I have to say. Whew. Alrighty then. So now from TheReal daytime getting canceled to now more hot tea. Alright then, so now Coachella was this past weekend, you guys, and it was huge, ladies and gentlemen. Billie Eilish got the headline, and The Weeknd also got the headline this past weekend's Coachella. And I personally think that the both of them did a really good job headlining Coachella. And I feel like, you know, they uplifted their audience. They really gave it their all, especially because, I mean, it's Coachella, ladies and gentlemen. And I personally think that Billie Eilish is but the fact that she's making history as the youngest headliner to be in Coachella is just so amazing. It's phenomenal, in my opinion, because I feel like she is already showing everyone else that you know, that, that she's a hardworking, super hardworking 20, 21 year, no, she's 20 year old. Yeah, she's a hardworking 20-year old that is, you know, killing it in the music business, and that, you know, that if she could do it, then everyone else, especially in her age, could do it as well, you know. So she's really giving a good example of that. It really makes me happy. Now, another thing that I have to say about this is Billie Eilish. Is um she not only has she been headlining Coachella, but also she won 6 Grammys already, and she won an Oscar this past month. So I mean, she's already, you know, killing it in the music business. She's already doing a lot of things that legends are doing, especially at such a young age. And also, she's barely starting her music career, so that's even more amazing, you know. So this is huge. This is wonderful. I am very happy for Billie Eilish, and also for The Weeknd for headlining the show, because I know that The Weeknd is such a great performer, and he's such a great singer, and I know that he had the audience up to his up on their feet, you know, when he was performing all of his hit songs, especially Blinding Lights. Now, another thing that I have to say about this is I'm glad that The Weeknd and Billie Eilish were the ones that were headlining this past weekend's Coachella and not Kanye West, like it was previously being said. Because that guy, I mean, he is crazy. And God knows what would have happened if he were to perform and headline that show this past weekend. God knows. He would have said a bunch of crazy stuff on stage. He would have maybe said a bunch of things going up against Pete Davidson. He would have um, done so many crazy, ridiculous things that we honestly do not like and enjoy. So, good thing that he did not perform this past weekend at Coachella and that he did not headline. And also, I think that the fact that Justin Bieber got to join Daniel Caesar this past weekend for performing the hit song Peaches was actually pretty amazing in my opinion. Like all of a sudden he popped up shirtless, Justin Bieber, and he went off and performed with Daniel Caesar, and obviously it shocked the audience and it surprised the audience, but it was like literally one of the best moments of Coachella because I mean, come on now. First of all, it's Justin's song, and second of all, I mean, Justin Bieber, he's a phenomenal performer. I mean, without Justin, the show wouldn't be the same. So he is such a great performer, and you know, and of course, I mean, he's such a great singer. So it's great just to see, you know, the pair just singing together, Peaches especially, and Justin Bieber. He is also um not just a great singer, but also I feel like he's also been a very good role model, you know, and I can tell that he's such a happy person, especially now that he's married to his beautiful wife Haley Bieber, which by the way I think they make such a cute couple. And I'm not sure if Haley Bieber attended Coachella. I'm pretty sure she did. But but anyway, if she did, that's wonderful, you know, having to see his wife support him. So, but anywho, Coachella was a success, and I think we're gonna have more weekends of Coachella. I don't think this was the last weekend. But anywho, okay, so now from Coachella to now, more hot tea, that's for sure. So now let's talk about um, let's talk about the Garcias. Okay, so the Garcias cast reacts to season one cliffhanger and season two dreams. Alrighty then, um, so here's the thing. Everyone has been wondering where the Garcias have been doing. And the big question apparently is after the season finale of the HBO Max series The Garcias aired, the cast of the show who made their return to television 18 years after the Nickelodeon original series The Brothers Garcia aired has no idea. Now, apparently, one of the cast members said, "I would tell you if I knew, but I don't." Bobby Gonzalez, who reprised his role as George Garcia, told ET's Daedre Behar, and then another cast member who happens to be Jeffrey Lacan got to say you might want to look at another Jeff Valdez, and that's what he said, and he plays Carlos Garcia in that same show. And then Jeffrey Valdez, the showrunner, tells ET that no one can get season two's location out of him, not even his wife. You cannot torture me and get it out of me, Valdez says. My own wife doesn't know, nobody knows except me. So apparently, in the first season, the original Garcia clan, Sonia Garcia, played by Adam Morris, her husband, Ray Carlos Lecamera, and their now grown children, Larry Alvin Alvarez, George Bobby Gonzalez, Carlos Jeffrey Lacan, and Lorena Vanessa Pitinsky, along with their respective spouses and children, spend a beautiful summer in Mexico connecting with each other and their roots. All right, so this is what I think is pretty amazing. I think that the fact that the Garcias are going to be on, well, that are already on, they just premiered their second season this past week on the 14th of April. I think it's really dope in my opinion because, I mean, we all love to see reboots of really good shows. We all love to see reboots of, you know, especially the hit classics, just like what we saw with Fuller House, what we saw with Raven's Home, we saw with, what other show did we see reboot? Raven's Home. We saw The Connors and iCarly. Well, yeah, iCarly. So yeah, we've seen so many shows, you know, and it's very dope that we're seeing them get revived, and we're seeing, you know, the cast members back and doing their thing again. It really is. And also, I remember when the Brothers Garcia was on Nickelodeon 18 years ago. I was a little kid. I was sitting in my kitchen table just watching the show, seeing how the family was, how united they were, and you know how they would deal with their family situations. I completely remember. And I personally feel like this family was not only a very united family, but I also feel like this family was a very happy family. I feel like this family was a very supportive family. I feel like this family knew how to actually get a family together. You know, it was literally one of the few family shows that I saw from Nickelodeon like that, you know. So it was interesting. It was interesting. And I can't believe that they're now reviving the show 18 years later with, especially now on a more mature audience on HBO Max. But I mean, it's not surprising though, because um, I mean, now that, you know, the cast is more grown, I mean, of course they're going to put it in a more mature network. They're not going to put it on a kids network. But this is amazing though. I feel like the Brothers Garcia, well, the Garcias are definitely taking a whole different route in this show. And I think we're going to be expecting a lot of different things from this show compared to the Brothers Garcia, that's for sure. A lot of different, more mature things, but I'm just gonna have to wait and see for myself. I haven't watched the show yet, so we're just gonna have to wait and see. Alrighty then, so anywho, don't forget to stream The Garcias, and that is now streaming on HBO Max. And yeah, and yeah, so yeah. So throughout the pandemic, we also found out that, I mean, throughout my spring break, um, we also found out that Britney Spears got pregnant, and well, Britney Spears is pregnant, and apparently Britney Spears took to Instagram to confirm the news that she's pregnant. And apparently, a lot of people, especially her fans, are very happy and excited for this pop star that she is pregnant. And especially her kids are very excited that she is pregnant. Now, her kids were the first ones to know that she is pregnant before Britney went out on Instagram announcing her pregnancy. Now, apparently, she is very happy, that she is going to be expecting a baby. She's 40 years old, 40, and that's actually pretty amazing. I mean, at 40, I mean, she's already going to have another child, but, you know, that's perfectly fine though, but still, it's pretty amazing. And she's going to be expecting this baby with, of course, her longtime fiance, Sam Asghari, and apparently it is also being announced, supposedly, that Britney Spears and Sam Asghari secretly got married throughout this past spring break that I've been having. And it's being rumored, though, that they got married, but it's not really being confirmed if they really got married or not secretly. And if they did, then congratulations to them. But I don't know. I don't know. But anywho, Britney Spears, ever since she announced her pregnancy, she's been rocking a bunch of outfits on her Instagram, showing off her baby bump, and she's been, just happy and dancing around, and she's been, all over the place. And I feel like the fact that she is pregnant, I feel like is just a celebration for her, um, in honor of her being free from that conservatorship that she's been tangled in for the past 13 years. That's what I think. And another thing that I have to say is, now that Brittany's going to be a mom again, I feel like she is definitely going to be, a good mom, of course, especially after what just happened. And of course, I can tell that Sam Asghari is going to be a wonderful father. Which, by the way, Sam Asghari also took to Instagram to confirm the news. And as Sam Asghari said that he never imagined to become a father, but that he is so blessed and happy to become a father, and that he's just waiting for this journey to happen now that he is going to be a father. And he went on the Instagram to confirm the news. And I think that the both of them, not only are they going to be very good parents, but I also feel like the both of them are really planning out how things are going to be now that they're going to have a child together, especially because Britney Spears, I mean, she's been busy working on new music and she's been busy doing other things, especially now that she's free at last. So it's going to be a certain thing that she's going to be planning out, like what she's going to do at this time, what she's going to do at that time, what she's going to do at this other time, you know? So that's how it's going to go for Britney. Now, Sam Asghari, he, I can tell, could take care of Britney if Britney ever goes, take care of Britney's baby. If Britney ever goes on tour again, or if Britney ever, goes out and promotes her new music, because as we all know, she's making new music. So, I don't know. I don't know, but I think that's how it could go, or maybe she could hire someone to take care of her baby for her. I don't know. But those are just my assumptions of what I think now that she's finally making a comeback to music and now that she's going to be a mom again. And, by the way, Sam Asghari, he's only 28 years old. I didn't know he was 28. I thought he was older. I thought he was like 40 or 30 something. I thought he was like around her age. Like, really, because he's very strong and tough and he looks very mature. So I thought he was way older than 28 in my opinion. But anywho, congratulations to the couple though on the coming of their baby. Congrats to them, and I wish them nothing but the best. All right, so now from Britney Spears to now, ladies and gentlemen, the Kardashians. As we all know, the Kardashians have been causing so much stir these days, especially now that their new show, The Kardashians, is now streaming on Hulu. And apparently, Black China and Rob Kardashian are going to be going to court. Mm-hmm. Yep, apparently they are going to be going to court. And the reason why is because apparently, there was this case going on 5 years ago that Black China sued Rob Kardashian, accusing him and the rest of his family of slut shaming her on social media and orchestrating that cancellation of her and Rob's reality series, Robin China. Well, in the years since, each side has filed hundreds of court documents in the Los Angeles Superior Court. The legal battle has been fierce, to say the least. Well, with the trial finally set to start Monday, ET takes a closer look at why Black China mounted a $100 million lawsuit against the Kardashian family and what to expect in the coming days. Well, in a statement to ET and just days before the trial, the Kardashians' family attorney Michael Rhodes addressed the allegations, saying, "We aren't going to sully the process of responding to slanderous nonsense." And then Black China's attorney Lynn Ciani told ET that the defendants' illegal conduct not only cost China millions and millions of dollars, but their conduct was emotionally devastating to her. Kalani added that China will appear in court to testify and to personally witness the entire trial from start to finish. Well, according to CBS News, Rhodes told the judge that the Kardashians made a settlement offer earlier this week that was rejected by China. Neither attorney discussed specifics about the settlement proposal, but Ciani told the outlet that she would make a counter offer before the trial gets underway. If a counter offer is accepted, it likely won't end the bitter feud between Rob and China. Rolling Stone reports China's separate trial and her revenge porn case is set to start in early May. Well, just today, April 18, jury selection begins and the trial is expected to last approximately 2 weeks. The headline here is that once opening statements are presented, a number of members of the Kardashian Jenner family will be called to take the witness stand in person, and that includes Rob, Kim, and Khloe Kardashian, as well as Kris and Kylie Jenner and Kris's boyfriend Corey Gamble. Rhodes told CBS News that Kim, Khloe, Kris, and Kylie will be present for the opening statements. And that's not all, ladies and gentlemen. Ryan Seacrest, the architect behind Keeping Up with the Kardashians and its slew of spin-offs, is also expected to testify through CBS News reports, though CBS News reports that Seacrest may come by way of video deposition. A number of former executives with E and the production company behind the Kardashian shows, Bunim Productions, will also take the witness stand at some point in the trial. Well, it should also be noted that Kris is listed as an adverse witness, which means she will be considered a hostile witness by Blac Chyna's legal team. Kris's total time on the witness stand from direct to cross-examination has been allotted for just under 5 hours. All right, so this is a pretty intense case, ladies and gentlemen. And this is all because of freaking revenge porn. You know what? When it comes to situations with who's doing what, what's doing who, we need to calm down. We need to chill. We need to just settle things the mature way. We need to stop getting so over the roof and over the top when it comes to situations, when it comes to cheating and this and that. We need to be more mature. We need to set a good example for the kids, you know, especially since they got kids together. Like, come on now. Like, they need, come on now. This cannot be a situation where, okay, let's play a game where we're cheating. You cheat on me, I cheat on you, and let's just make it to court later on. No, I feel like, especially doing revenge porn, hell no. I feel like when it comes to doing this, when it comes to handling difficult situations like this, it's best that a couple gets to talk it out, they get to settle things, and they get to be like, you know what, for now let's just distance ourselves. You take your time to reflect on what you've done, and I'll take my time to reflect on what I should do in order to handle the situation, and that is it. And if you want to divorce, divorce. If you want to separate, separate. That's how it should be. You know, I also feel like, the fact that this has gone to a whole different level, not only is it making them look very childish, but also it is making them look very bad. Very, very bad. Um, but I'm also getting the feeling that all of this is going on for the ratings. I feel like this is just going on for the publicity. Because a lot of people I can tell are already getting into this situation. They're already talking about it. They're already making headlines about this. They're already going out doing other stuff about this. So this could also be for the publicity, and I wouldn't really be surprised if it really is for the publicity, because I mean, the more publicity, the more money these people are making. Especially because of the fact that the Kardashians already have their own show that's out on the streaming service Hulu. So there's also that. Let's not forget about that. Um, so anywho, I think that um, when you are also in a couple situation where you are being betrayed or whatnot, I feel like it's just so nasty. I also feel like it's just so nasty that you have to use revenge porn in a situation. Like, it's just so nasty, so slimy, so evil. Beyond evil, beyond just awful. Like, no, 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 no. Just and also, I mean, Kim Kardashian, she started off with the sex tape, and now we have to continue off with them, these two, with their shenanigans of doing their thing with revenge porn. Like, no, like, this is uh, this is gonna turn into the porn Dashians than the Kardashians. This is gonna turn into the porn Dashians, in my opinion, as far as what I'm noticing here with this whole entire situation. And this is just not good. And I'm not saying this to be shady or to be all up in the Kardashians, um, situation, or to be mean and stuff like that. I'm just saying it because it's the truth. Like, Jesus, like, this is just ridiculous. Now, we're just gonna have to wait and see what happens after this 2 week trial happens between Rob and Black China. Let's see who wins the case. If it's either Rob or Black China, who knows? But anywho, just be nice, be nice to each other, be mature, handle things the right way, and you will not end up in court like these people are. That's all I have to say. But anywho, from this disastrous situation to now more hot tea. Yes, there's more hot tea, because I mean, this whole entire week has been filled with so much hot tea that I haven't spoken about. Well, anywho, now let's talk about Robin Roberts. Alright, well, Robin Roberts shares why Amber Lane's treatment was suspended amid cancer battle. Well, Robin Roberts, we all know her from the lovely daytime talk show Good Morning America, which airs on ABC. And in the midst of her partner's breast cancer battle, Robin Roberts knows firsthand that it's a journey of peaks and valleys. The Good Morning America co-anchor, who is celebrating 20 years with the morning news program, revealed in a new interview with ET that her longtime partner Amber Lane's treatment has been suspended for the time. She's had some complications with the chemotherapy, Roberts explained. They're working it out. We're gonna figure it out. The prognosis is still very good. End quote. She continued, I'm just thankful that her spirits have been lifted. Recently, it was a little tough there because she just wanted to get through it and to have this wrench thrown in our way. But I was able to tell her, as most people who have gone through cancer, this happens. Now, after all, Roberts can relate after previously battling breast cancer herself as well as mm, myelodysplastic syndrome. There are peaks and valleys, she said, and we went through a valley, but it's more of a peak right now, and I'm just very grateful for all the love and support that she's receiving. Now, the journalist can also find support in her own new book, Brighter by the Day, which is described as a guide to instilling hope and optimism into readers' lives, refusing their days with positivity and encouragement. All right, so this is pretty sad, of course, that her partner is going through breast cancer. Um, you know what? I wish nothing but the best for her partner's on the battle um, that her partner is going through. I hope that her partner survives this breast cancer battle that she's going through. I really hope that she gets to survive because breast cancer, any type of cancer, especially breast cancer, is a bitch. Let's be real here. It's a bitch. F cancer, and sadly, cancer is something that happens to so many people. It doesn't happen to very few, it happens to so many people. And, as much as we have heard that COVID has killed so many people, well, cancer has also killed so many people. Let's not forget about that. But this is why it's also very important to take care of ourselves and to just eat right and just make sure that nothing happens with our bodies because I mean the fact that that you are having cancer, not only are you in jeopardy of losing your life, but also um, it could already be very tough. I mean, just having to go through the chemotherapies, it could be very tough just having to feel the sensations in you from the cancer that you're going through, and then it could be so awful just having to even be with your partner with that situation, and then having your partner get so worried. I mean, it's just awful enough, with all of that going on. So this is why, ladies and gentlemen, please check up on yourselves. Seek a doctor to see how healthy you are, to see how you're doing, and also, please take care of yourselves and eat right. That is all I have to say. But I really hope the best for Amber Lane and for Robin Roberts on this difficult situation that they are in right now. All right, so now, um, from Robin Roberts and Amber Lane to now Raven's Home. Well, the season 5 of Raven's Home premiered this past March on Disney Channel, and just last week, Adrienne Houghton, who happened to reprise her role as Alana Rivera on Raven's Home, was on the show as the school principal. And apparently, she had a very interesting chemistry with Raven-Symoné in that episode of Raven's Home. It was just nice to see the both of them reunite after so many years, especially because That's So Raven ended 15 years ago, and it's about time that we get to see the high school bully reunite with the victim, which is Raven Baxter, Raven-Symoné, played by Raven-Symoné. And I really like the fact that Alana was in that show, not only because they got to, face on their differences once again, and because, it's just hilarious and interesting just having to see Alana pick on Raven like she always has. But what I didn't like about that episode was that unfortunately the show didn't give the enough time to Raven Baxter and Alana Rivera to confront each other and to talk to each other about their differences. That's what really bothered me. It didn't give them the enough time. Like all I saw was Raven walks in the office, Alana's standing in the office, and then Alana was all like, "Hey Raven, haven't seen you since high school." And then Raven goes off and says, and so it hasn't, or so it has, something like that. And then Booker, who happens to be Raven's son in the show, he stood up, and then Alana said, "Sit down, Booker." And then Raven goes off and tells Alana, "Don't you talk to my son that way." And then that's when Raven yells at her own son to tell him to sit down, because apparently Booker got in trouble by something, and Alana's the principal, and she was gonna punish him. But anyway, and that's how the scene ended, unfortunately. And it didn't really, there really was not a lot of confrontation going on, or nor a lot of, interesting beef going on like there really would on That's So Raven between the both of them. And I feel like there should have been more. I feel like Alana should have told Raven, "So Raven, now that we meet again, I mean, now it's time to torture you once again, or it's time to see to torture your son now that he's going to this school, or I don't know, or Raven, where you've been all these years, huh? Like, something like that. There should have been more conversation like that, since they were already reuniting with each other in that episode of the show. But unfortunately, that did not happen. Sadly, it was more focused on Booker and the girl that he met, which happens to be the daughter of Alana Rivera. Sadly, the episode was more focused on that, and I mean, that really bothered me. I was like, no, this is not good, you know? Especially because here's the thing, the majority of the people that are watching Raven's Home are people that are like me. They grew up watching That's So Raven, and they want to, see how the continuation goes on between Alana and Raven many years later, but on Raven's Own, you know? So that's why it really bothered me that there wasn't that enough time between Raven and Alana. But we're just gonna have to see in the upcoming episodes of Raven's Home, which, by the way, it airs every Friday night at 8 p.m. on Disney Channel. Um, and yeah, so we're just gonna have to wait and see what happens in the upcoming episodes, and to see if maybe there will be more Raven and Alana confrontations, more Raven and Alana chemistry. We're just gonna have to wait and see. But anywho, that is it for today's show, you guys. I really hope you guys enjoyed today's episode of the Jose Show. Man, today was a pretty intense episode of the Jose Show, because I got to say so many stuff ever since I got off last week for spring break. And I'll be back with some more hot tea. Please make sure you guys subscribe to my YouTube channel, and please make sure you guys subscribe to my Instagram and to my Facebook and to my Twitter. Till next time, peace.